Hello everyone, welcome back to The Homegrown Artist, or welcome to The Homegrown Artist if you are new here. My name is Michaela, and thank you for joining me today. Today we are talking about some of my absolute go-to favorite books for homesteaders, for beginning homesteaders, and these are books not that I've just seen the word homesteader on and have decided to recommend. These are books that I have returned to over and over and over as I am going through this experience of learning how to do a lot of things for the very first time. These are some excellent resources that I've used repeatedly to gradually build my knowledge and understanding of how homesteading works and what homesteading actually is, as well as just how to do the things that are involved in it and the knowledge you need to take care of certain animals, the space that they reside in, a garden, all of these things that work in tandem to make this lifestyle. There is a lot of information out there, and that's great. But having a lot of information out there in the world about every single topic ever is really overwhelming, especially with the development of the sneakiness of artificially generated content and artificially generated knowledge. Now we're getting to a point where we have to sift through blog posts, videos, articles to find the ones that are generated by people and generated by people that have done their research. I like the things I'm reading to have research and experience to back it up. I like them to be readable, so well written and bringing the knowledge to you in an accessible way that is useful for any level of understanding of whatever subject it is. So these are some of my staples. This video is inspired and is a response or a collaboration with Jessica Sowers from Roots and Refuge Farm. A fantastic wealth of information and encouragement and just wonderfully nourishing content. She has sent out a call for people that are new, experienced, anything involving homesteading, gardening, farming, anything, content creators, to share their physical books that they use and are reputable sources of knowledge. So these are some of my favorite ones, and I feel it is only right to start by recommending The First Time Gardener by Jessica Sowers. This was the first book that I really actually got invested in and started reading for myself. This whole gardening and homesteading experience was something that my mother began, and she was the one that started to dig deep and dive into it. And my sister and I got her some books that were well reviewed and related to the content, and this was one of them. When I got this book for my mom, I had no idea who she was. I had no idea who Jessica Sowers was, didn't know anything about Roots and Refuge Farm, started watching her channel, absolutely fell in love with her personality, her content, and the way that she makes gardening and makes this lifestyle accessible and approachable and not intimidating. So this is an excellent book for the first-time gardener. I also think this is probably a good book for just anyone that wants to grow things. She's a very poetic writer, and that resonates with me because I am a poet at heart. This book covers a very, very comprehensive list of everything that you need to know. And not only that, but encouragement for people that are just making their foray into growing a thing to eat. She goes into garden design, so how to set up your garden space in a way that is effective and efficient, but also nice to look at. She has a section on garden management as well, which covers the things that first-time gardeners may not think of in regards to stewarding plants and vegetables and fruits and whatever you're growing, like how often to water, what to plant, succession planting, growing the garden, harvesting, and starting plants from seeds, and how to plant with the seasons. So seasonal growing, which is, important for gardening. So this is just the first one. If you can just get one book, I would highly recommend this one. It is a wealth of knowledge that is beautifully written. The next one is the Homesteaders Herbal Companion. I spoke a little bit about this one in my Herbalism for Beginners video that I made, where I briefly ran through some of the books that I use, how I'm studying, and how to approach a subject that seems very mysterious. But this one not only covers a lot of different herbs. This is written by Amy Fuel. I hope I'm saying that correctly. She is the founder of Homesteaders of America and also has a YouTube channel with a lot of good information on there. So this covers the basics. It covers a good list of herbs for homesteader, every homesteader to have on hand. Y'all, stop it. It covers herbalism for humans, how to make tinctures, the different terminologies and phrases for tinctures, salves, decoctions, all of that. It goes through a list of herbs that every homesteader should have on hand if possible. It goes through growing your own herbs, how to grow in your area, and it also has recipes and information on using herbs for your livestock and your pets, and cooking with herbs as well. So this one is just a very, very good, practical guide to incorporating herbs into your garden and into your lifestyle and into your homestead. The next two books that I'm going to talk about, I use in tandem. I use them together because as I am learning and studying herbalism on my own, I want to know what plant I'm looking at. And so the next two books are Peterson's The Field Guide to Medicinal Plants and Herbs, and then also Encyclopedia of Herbal Medicine. These two books I use together because Peterson has pictures of every single plant it talks about in here, as well as how to identify, how to differentiate them from other plants, plants that they may also look like, some things that specific plants have been reported to be good for medicinally, or plants that you should absolutely not touch or consume under any circumstances whatsoever. So this one I think is just a really good one to have, even if you don't forage, if you don't do anything like that, just to have a physical reference with for sure pictures that has been No! We have a little friend joining us momentarily. You want to read a book? Mm-hmm. Yeah, you want to read? So Peterson's is just a good catch-all for any herb or plant in general identification. So for example, if there's a pasture or an area that you're thinking of putting livestock in, making sure that there are no harmful plants in there, you're able to identify them. It's a really good resource, and I do use it in tandem with the Encyclopedia of Herbal Medicine because this goes into a deeper understanding of the history of using herbal medicine, and also has more references to different recipes. Now, it doesn't have the recipes directly in there, but it tells you whether an herb is used in a tincture, in a salve, in a decoction, and it's a little bit more comprehensive than the Homesteader's Herbal Companion because this is purely just plants. Most of them have pictures next to them, not all of them, but using it with the Petersons can be a good way to make sure you know what plant you're looking at before you touch or consume it, which is always important. Don't eat things that you don't know the identity of. This was another one of those first few books that we got my mom when she first started getting interested in this. I have not read this book all the way through. I will give that disclaimer here. I have read a good portion of it, but this is not necessarily a book that personally I feel like I can just read all the way through. I take it a section at a time, and it is well written, and it goes over storing food, meat, dairy, livestock, poultry, eggs, gardening, bees. It has information on bees as well. It has a garden planning chart, so hey, whoa. Mister, no you did not. Our Dorking rooster is finally actually stepping into his roosterhood and is starting to challenge us. So we have to keep an eye out for that. Now, he's not mean or vicious like some of the other ones we've had, but every now and then he just likes to scrape his little feet at you. Leave Alice alone. She's a silky. You're a Dorking. All right, and so this last book, I don't think that this is necessarily an absolute must-have, but this has just been one of my favorites to read. This is How to Speak Chicken, Why Your Chickens Do What They Do and Say What They Say. I got this book because I love my chickens. I love spending time with them, and I wanted to know more about their dynamics and their behavior and how people fit into those dynamics and behavior. And so I took a look at this in Tractor Supply, and with my weak self, I decided to just go ahead and get it. This one goes into pecking order. It does go a little bit into the care of chickens, but this is more focused on the behaviors of chickens and how they establish a pecking order, how the rooster is incorporated into that pecking order, and things like that. So this one's just super fun. It also talks about how chickens talk to each other and then how they talk to you, and how they can identify actually and memorize kind of different faces And I know they can because my chickens always know when I arrive because I usually have treats, so they know that I'm treat lady. But those are all the books that I have today. I encourage you to, when you are looking at a source, when you're looking at information, there's such an overwhelm online. And more these days, I feel like people are turning to physical copies of books, which is tricky because now on Amazon, there are artificially generated books that have been smashed together because there has been a program someone has made to analyze the looks and the descriptions and the contents of hundreds of different homesteading books, or any book, not just homesteading, and compile it into one mishmash of garbled book information so that they can make money. But just be careful with what you're reading. Do the best you can to research things. These are solid recommendations that are tried and true. So many people before me have used them and discovered them. I hope that these are helpful to you. Thank you so much to Jess from Roots and Refuge for sending this call out and inspiring people to make content like this and share and build this community. Thank you all so much for watching. If you would like more homesteading book reviews or informational videos, please let me know in the comments. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye!